Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and this is Johnny Avanti, and in this video we're going to be cleaning up this yard. I'm going to show you around. So what we're using today is called a Forestry mulcher. Now this machine is pretty amazing. You know, I got a lot of prices from different contractors with different machines. It would have took them a long time. I'm hoping this guy bangs this job out in like 4 hours and the yard is going to look like a park. So let's walk around and see what we're going to do. So like, I don't know how good you can see, but all these little trees here, we're going to make a big pant that goes in there so you can park a boat, put a big trailer, or anything like a motorhome, and you can park it right in there. But with all those trees, you really can't use the land that's in there. So now all this underbrush is going to come out. It's going to get all eaten up, mulched, and then eventually we're going to go in there and rototill it and seed it. Like that wood pile, we're going to try to eat up that wood pile, take out a lot of these trees. Now the guy's loading up the machine. He's going to get ready to start work. It's going to get loud, and all these bushes are going to come out. So the goal is to take these bushes and move them back, kill them, rototill it after, and hopefully this stuff ain't going to grow back. Like these big trees are probably not going to come down because, you know, they're established, they're pretty nice, so they're going to stay. What's going to go is all these bushes, all these little trees, all these little bushes. Now it cost the same amount of money to hire this guy than it would have to hire a guy with like a skid steer to push all this stuff back. It would have looked like shit. What this guy's going to do is he's going to come in here and mulch all of this stuff. This stuff is going to disappear. It's going to be gone. And then I'm going to try to get somebody to come in here with a tractor and rototill all of this. So if you could look, he's going to get in there, all in that patch. That's all going to get cleaned up. All these high branches that are hanging over the grass, are preventing the grass to grow, that's going to go. All these small trees are going to go. And pretty much what we're going to be left with is big trees. All the little guys, like these two in the front here, are going to go. And it's going to be a much bigger yard. The yard's going to be huge. You know, you could probably use more of the yard back there. So like these, he's not going to be able to take out because the septic system is here. So I don't want him rolling over here with the machine. But like there's a machine now, and a lot of these trees that are in the front yard here are going to go as well. So these branches here, we're going to take these trees here, we're going to take down by hand. But I'm going to ask him if he can get in there with the machine. If not, then we'll just have to cut that up by hand and cut it up and bury it somewhere in the yard. So like all these little trees here are going to go, and hopefully grass will grow there, and it'll be a lot nicer. A lot nicer. So there's the machine. So this is sort of like so this machine is sort of like something at a junkyard that cuts up metal and engines and stuff like that. You can see the teeth on here. I mean, they don't feel sharp to the touch, but when these things are spinning at a high velocity, I'm sure it just eats the wood up. So this is a John Deere Bobcat, skid steer, whatever you want to call it. And this is the machine. This is a new machine, I guess, new technology. And if you want to do quick clearing, this is what you use. You know, he said the bigger trees, they cut them down and I guess haul them away. Or maybe they have a bigger machine than this.
Yeah, they make bigger ones.
that does bigger machines. So this is like a small machine. You know, so they probably have, like I said, they have bigger ones that'll just eat these trees up.
They got one that's twice this size.
Twice the size of this, so it could probably take out any tree almost.
And 3 times as money.
3 times as money. So what does this cost like this?
This here is $40,000.
So just
the head is $40,000.
Just the head is $40,000.
The machine was $100,000.
The machine was $100,000. All right, so $150,000, you're in business.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
See, some of these are getting a little dull. They're sharper like this.
So what do? You change them or you sharpen them?
Yeah, they're $40 a piece.
$40 a piece. Okay.
Yeah. They all bolt right here.
There you go. So there's no sharpen them, maintenance them. You guys
can sharpen them, but it's
It's not
They
the
wear
same.
out so quick.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we sharpened them before, but like when they get real dull like that one, no, we're sharpening.
Right. But this will do the job today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll do the job. So he's getting in the machine. He's probably not going to let me drive it, but that's it. So he's in there protected with that door so he doesn't get hit up with a machine. So let's follow this thing. It's got a rubber pad. There he goes. So this is the house. So he's gonna, this is just, this is nothing. I put the cone there to cover up the well. I don't want him eating up the well or running over because that wouldn't be a good thing. Look at that. Gone. I was actually going to rent a brush hog to do this, but there was no way I was going to do it. I mean, it was just too much work. Not only that, the bugs, the ticks. You need a machine like this, it's way worth. Look at it, he's even turning the earth over. He's just eating this stuff up. I think I made the right choice of hiring this guy, this company to do this. I met him a couple of years ago. I should have did it while the people were in the house. This way it would have been done. I would have had money coming in at the same time. That thing is spinning fast. I was gonna stain the deck, but I didn't want to do it now because I don't want all this dust going on the new paint. So that's my next project. And it's pretty cool. You get a machine like this, you're gonna get a lot of work. Because even a brush hog couldn't do this. There's no way. I mean, that stuff is gone. Gone. Mulched up, no mess, no cleanup. It's just history. Look at the yard, looks so much bigger. Wow. Let's hope the machine doesn't break down. Wow, that's something. At the end, I'm gonna see if we can mulch up all that wood that's over there. There's nothing left. Look at this. Whoa. You can actually now, if you put a pool here, just with this machine. I mean, if you were gonna put a pool here, you wouldn't have to do this. The backhoe would have just dug this all out. But I'm not gonna put a pool here. I just wanted to make the yard bigger. And it is. You know, it wasn't easy getting these guys to come here because they're so busy. I think the guy actually did me a favor sending him because they're probably like doing big jobs, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 jobs. I mean, this guy's charging me nothing to do this. But it would have cost the same amount of money if I hired a guy with a brush hog, or a backhoe, or something like that. It would have cost me the same money. And I would have had a mess because all those guys are saying is, oh, I'm gonna push this back. And I'm saying to myself, what are you gonna do with all the leftover stuff? Leave it there? This stuff is gone. Look at this. Look, he's going in there. He's gonna take out the trees. There's his first tree. Look at that. Whoever invented this machine, and it, I better get out of here if I get hit with something. Look at this. Wow. So now I can use that back there. You know, there's always going to be shade there. You could always put like chairs and hang out, have campfires in the shade during the day. It's just awesome. I mean, if I gotta clean up, you know, maybe rent a wood chipper, I'm gonna do that. right, so we'll come back later on, let the guy work here, and then when we get to another section, we'll turn it back on. Alright, so we're here back in the job to see how the Forestry mulcher did, you know, compared to an excavator, digging out the stumps, having a chipper, chipping all the wood, chipping all the small trees, and you know, just see if an excavator would do a cleaner job. So let's take a look around and see how the Forestry mulcher actually did, and if it did create more work versus making the job easier. And is a Forestry excavator really useful for a homeowner? Because this is what this job was. This was a job, homeowner's job. It wasn't really like a clearing job for, you know, for a contractor to clear a site, to build, you know, whatever they want to build on the property. And let's just take a look around and see how the Forestry mulcher did. Now, as you can, you know, you remember the guy said that it was the small machine. Maybe if they would have bought the bigger machine, I think it would have did a little better job. It would have had more power to pulverize the wood. So let's take a look. Okay, so starting right here, you could see the Forestry mulcher took down this tree and left this stump. Now, I thought that the Forestry mulcher was going to be able to get all the stumps out. The other thing it did is it left a lot of gouges in the dirt, so you could see that, like that track. So now, you know, you're gonna have to come through here with something. Like you can see all this from the tracks. Now now these are like a lot of branches, a lot of trees that were taken down, and the Forestry mulcher just couldn't eat this wood up, just couldn't really mulch this wood. You know, it wasn't strong enough for these sized logs. They're about 4 inches, and I'm really disappointed. I mean, you can see this big stumps. There's all stumps here. It left gouges like that. So this area was all trees, and you can see so much debris left. So I'm gonna have to rent a chipper, and these trees will go into a decent chipper. I don't know how much that's gonna cost, but I did get prices of like, you know, $1,800, $2,000 to do a complete job that was stumping and cleaning everything up, you know. So I tried to go the inexpensive way. I thought this was going to be, you know, a quick job. The guy was going to come in with his machine and just get rid of all this stuff. Like, here's a tree. All right, so that's like part of a tree. You know, you could see the gouges from the machine trying to, you know, eat this stump up, this tree anyway, and it just couldn't do it. It just didn't have enough power to do it. It knocked it down, you know, that's okay, but it couldn't even stump stuff. You know, like this stuff, you know, I can usually carry all this and just dump it into the woods, you know, back there, and it'll just decompose and it'll be no problem. But still, like, cleaning this up is not going to be fun. Like, here's another stump I just walked over, you know. So, you know, how you going to get that out? You know, that's a stump. So, like, you know, a machine with a bucket could have dug it out, ripped the stump right out, which probably would have been a lot better to do, and just pile the wood up, and then you could have just cut it all up and burnt it as firewood. Or even like with a sawzall. You know, I was thinking about doing a sawzall and just cutting it down as tight to the floor as possible, and that would have been good enough. You know, like, look at that. You know, you got to deal with all this. So really, in a way, you know, the Forestry mulcher, to me, you know, did a good job, but it didn't do that great of a job. It wasn't what I expected. I mean, it couldn't take care of all this. You know, not at all. Like this tree here. You know, this is all here now. This is just extra work. You know, I don't know if I could even rent a chipper big enough to get rid of this. Like all of that. You know, here's some more, like, you know, from the tracks in the machine. Like, I wanted to get rid of this tree to make room for another shed, or even possibly, you know, put 3 sheds in there, right between this, put 3 sheds between this tree and those trees, you know, move it back further. So I was hoping that the machine could have took care of these stumps, but unfortunately it did not. You know, like I could take all those down trees that he took down and just put them all back here. You know, pile them up, and the bugs, you know, the time will just eat them up, just like those branches there. You know, just put them back there along the road and make like a little wall or whatnot. There's room back there for me to walk like that. I could even pick this up, you know, cut this up smaller. You know, this has been here for a while, so he didn't do that with the Forestry mulcher. But he did come back here. I really didn't want to come back here, but I mean, he left this big spot. He cleared that up, I think, so that's good. You know, I might even move all this wood that's really no good and just move it back there, make a wall, and it'll just decompose on its own. Who knows what's living in there. You know, you might be able to burn this outside, but I wouldn't really burn this in the house. Although it is good wood. There's probably termites in here, a lot of bugs. So, but you know, who knows. So this is the main area I wanted to get rid of and kill. There's no green right now, which is good. So nothing's come back. It's really wet here. It rained a lot. And as you could see, there's like a little difference in grade. So I don't know if I gotta get some fill or just like till this evenly. You know, get somebody to bring some fill in. There's a lot of free fill now. So I cleared out this area. And once I get rid of that wood, there'll be a little more room. You know, I could just keep cutting trees down until I'm, you know, until I'm satisfied. But I didn't want it to open it up to the road like this, but it is kind of nice. You know, the deers will come in, they'll be a lot happier getting onto the property. You know, this is a fire road, so if the firemen did have to come in here now, they'd have no problem getting in into the onto the property and put the house out. But you know, I'm right on the street here, so if there's ever a fire, they can just come and put out the fire. So like he came in here, like, you know, I didn't really want it to come in here per se, for whatever reason. So what you could do with this is you can cut this square and keep cutting it, and you could probably make a hedge with this stuff. You just got to be careful, you know, that it doesn't there's probably like thorns in there and stuff like that, but you could make a hedge. So here's another stump that the Forestry mulcher couldn't get out. Like he gouged out some of the trees like that. I don't know if that's going to affect the tree at all. You know, I'm going to try to get like a tree saw, you know, cut those branches down, like all those branches up there. It'll make it look nicer, open it up, let more light in, and still maintain the trees, like all these low branches. So if you get all these low branches out in the trees like these right here, that'll let more light in here, and you could actually plant grass and the grass will grow. You know, so now you do have a lot more yard to play in, because if you could see the difference in the line, the weeds were right up to that black stuff where you see that. So it actually opened up the yard a lot more. There's a lot more yard. If you have kids, you want them to play in, you know, you could actually have a little more fun back here. You know, you had all these thorn bushes or vines growing. You know, I don't even know what these things are. So that's why I want somebody to come in here, you know, rake this all up, and maybe just throw some seeds down, or just level it out and seed it just the way it is, because the dirt, you know, brown dirt is good dirt. you know, just over there that I want to try to make this all more even. But you need a machine for that, and that's expensive, and I don't have a machine. You know, those guys, they want a lot of money, you know, to bring those machines on a job and do some work. You know, like prune all these trees down, all those dead branches all around the whole property, and that'll make everything look a lot neater, a lot foresty. And it did. If you look at all at that, it looks like a foresty. So when you plant grass and you're gonna have green grass around these trees and you put mulch, it's gonna look really nice, you know, especially like once you start cutting those hedges back there and they get thicker and thicker and thicker. It's gonna look really nice. And now the other thing that it does too is, you know, it cuts down a lot of the bugs. You won't have as many bugs, I guess, because you can see there was a lot of stuff in here. A lot. And this guy worked that machine for almost 5 hours. I mean, that thing was working non-stop. That guy didn't stop for 1 minute working. So it kind of took a long time. You know, and if you do have a machine like that, you know, I really don't think it's worth it. I mean, 5 hours and it just did a little area. So you figure 8 hours worth of work would have done twice as much as this, and it would have been a challenge for that machine to take out these big trees. I mean, there's just no way it would have done it. Absolutely none. You know, you got to do these the old-fashioned way. I mean, the Forestry mulcher has its pluses and its minuses. You know, here's another root. You know, it's probably a little better than a brush hog on a machine. It's faster. You can get in tighter spots. You can take out little trees. But I'm not sure if like the Forestry mulcher machine they had was actually sharpened or really were working to its potential. Because like I wanted to get rid of this pile here. Get rid of that, you know, get rid of all this on the edge. And just clean this up. I'm not going to take this out, but just clean it up. And get in there. Maybe I will cut it out. So he cut this all out, and that looks fantastic. I mean, this looked like that. You know what I mean? So this is much better. I mean, this is way better. So if you clean that up and you cut down all these low branches that are blocking a lot of the sunlight out, you're going to get some sun in there, and you might be able to grow some grass. It's not going to be fun cutting it, but you may be able to grow grass, or you could just get, you know, wood chips and fill this thing up with wood chips and keep it clean and mow it, and it's going to look a lot better than that. You know, so even driving down here, it looks so much better. So like over here, I had a bunch of huge trees, and this is the remnant of it. And even, you know, something like a pine like that, the machine couldn't take care of. You can see all the tracks the machine left, all of that. So, you know, I got to rake all that, clean it up. There's roots in there, rocks and all of that. So I'm going to take all the rocks, whatever I could, and put it on the edge, raise it and protect that that clean out, and put more rocks around where the spout is to raise that little area up, which will be better. You know, put back the gutter. The house was clean, power washed, and then plant new stuff, smaller stuff, and it'll look better than that huge green that was there. Those big trees. Like this thing is out of control too. Like this bush that needs to be trimmed. So I'm not sure if he ran over the clean out for the septic, but it looks like it was damaged. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, it's cracked. So I gotta call the septic guy, see if I can get another cap. So he cleaned this area out, but the machine did not get rid of the stumps. You know, and that's a problem, you know. So, and he actually made the stumps harder to manage, you know, because they're like this, you know, this. I don't know if you could, you know, get a stump grinder and stump these out. know, that was a pretty big tree. And they're all around here. You know, you could probably rent a small machine or dig these right out, you know, because they're already, there's nothing to them. This is all sand here. It's not really a lot of rock. I thought it was going to be all this, like this stuff, you know, like just wood chips, and that would have been fine. You could have just raked this out, leveled it, and it would have looked okay. Cleaned everything up. So now I'm just trying to figure out, you know, how to get rid of all these huge branches and clean this area up and make it look nice, because, you know, the water does flow in here and sit and drain out, so you really can't raise this, you know, make it level with this property here. It's got to like come in here, and this is where the water drains out, and it's been doing that because you can see how it goes down and then up. So this is how to, you know, whoever built this house prepared the land for drainage, and the house does drain well, but when it really gets saturated, you know, you do get a little bit of water, but that's the way it is around here. See, like these, I want to cut all these branches down. Maybe I wanted to take that tree out. I could perhaps cut that out myself and throw some rocks in there and make the driveway a little wider. But this was cleared out a little bit, and it looks better. You know, it looks cleaner. It does. It just looks a lot nicer. It looks more foresty. You could now walk in here. You couldn't even walk in here because there was just so many bugs and chiggers and ticks and whatnot. So it's cleaner now. You know, maybe the ticks moved on, and the chiggers and all the bugs, they got out of here. So the next step is to like trim all the trees and get all the low branches down, and just have the branches keep growing up, and just maintaining it. But that's how it looked. So should you hire a forestry mulcher? I guess it all depends on the job that you have, and how much money you're willing to spend, and keep the guy on the job getting rid of all the stumps, because that's the biggest thing, is to get rid of the stumps. Now I have a job to get rid of the stumps, which is not going to be fun. I could rent a stump grinder at the Home Depot, go around and grind all those things, hire a guy, but you know, we're going to see how it works out. I'm working on it right now to get the properties set up. You know, the house is all cleaned up inside. It needs a little painting on the baseboard where they did the flooring. I fixed all the cabinets and stuff like that. Got rid of a stove that was no good. Put a new one in, and it's coming along. So I'll get back to you, and maybe on a part 2, and show you how the property looks once it's all fixed up. So this is John. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.